Now, you see, technology is a tool. I want to help people understand this tool. So an algorithm is just a series of steps taken. Just think of it that way. Imagine King's College, but without the swag. Like King's College getting excited. Yeah. Now, during that time, I did not realize that we're learning the language of the computer, right? That's when it shows me there's tech, there's strategy, there's this, there's that, there's that, there's that. So I was seeing the whole picture and I'm like, now it's time to bring it together. Man, I discovered something.
Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're from. My name is Emily and today I am here with Toby.
Hi everyone.
And Mr. Colin.
Hello.
Welcome.
So, I'm going to just give you the ground rules. We are going to have...
I'm very serious.
maybe it's serious, but let's get into it. And there'll be a little bit of a competition to see who puts the puzzle
Oh, wow.
quickly within those 30 minutes. So the more pieces you put together, it means you're going to win. I think Toby can tell us about what's actually in the puzzle.
Hey, we have some just cool digital art from people in and around the Kelele sphere. And please go check out the show notes to find out more about those artists. We're going to link them.
So timer has started now. So Colin, so when creatives hear the word AI engineer, they're probably going to say this is not for me and probably tune off.
Yeah.
So help us break it down to us. What do you do and how does that relate and connect to creatives and multimedia creatives?
Okay. So an AI engineer, simply put, is it's a fancy title that came about around 2 years ago. It was coined by a lady called Chip Huyen. She wrote a book about it, actually, one of the best books to learn about large language models and things like that. So an AI engineer simply makes use of the large language models, which are the likes of ChatGPT, Claude. So these large language models are just, think of them as huge brains trained on a lot of data, right? So we just manage the use of those. That's all we do. Yeah. So for creatives and multimedia, that's a whole conversation. I'd have to go down into the history of what it means to be a creative and how we could define the future with AI engineers.
Let's first go sideways, but okay.
Of course.
Yeah. So before you went into becoming an AI engineer, was there anything in terms of a creative outlet that you had before you got into this AI space?
Okay, so I always considered myself as like for lack of a better word, the dumbest person in the room. You know why? Because it took me a longer time to learn things, like truly understand them, because I was always looking for like the deepest meaning. But yeah, I was a creative way before I started AI stuff. So I used to draw a lot in high school, did art for the 6 years I was at. Actually, no, I did art way earlier. In my primary school, I used to sneak around. So they'll do societies on Thursdays where guys split into different groups and try to like draw. Other people would go for like French, others would go for football. So I was the kid that would bounce from society to society. So my parents had signed me up for football, so I'd go for football. I'm like, okay, so it's just guys kicking a ball. When I figure it out, I'm done. I go to the next thing.
I don't know if that means dumbest person. I feel like that's smartest person in the room.
I agree with
But
that.
the thing is, it would take me... Okay, so the thing is, I would always look for the underlying thing that's happening. So I was always looking for like the deep thing. So whenever I'd ask people questions, they wouldn't give me that like the deep answer. So I'd always just, like I wouldn't get it. So it would take me a longer time to understand things, but when I get them, I would never forget them. So I just kept bouncing from society to society. So I would go to the French one, I would go to the art one. Now when I went to the art one, at the time we used to just draw Ben 10, because that was the trending thing at the time. So you draw him and he has a watch like this. So yeah, so when I mastered how to draw him, I was done. I moved to the next one. Yeah, I'm done. So fast forward, I used to draw portraits of my parents and things like that, but they never really liked it. Okay, they would like it in the moment, but then when they would look at my grades, they'll be like, but you're wasting your time.
Like, why would you put that energy into the book?
So we grew up in at the time we were very humble. Like it was, even going to that school, it was Kampala parents. So I ended up there because a friend of ours in the compound was studying there. But my parents could not afford the fees. So I would spend most of the time outside of class. So I did not learn how to read properly. I would have been way ahead of my time. But I didn't know how to read. I guess it was God preempting my genius. So I had not learned how to read. I kept asking my dad for colors, but could not afford them and stuff like that. So, man, it was a crazy time. So they then changed my school. So I went to a boarding school. It was Bodo Junior. Oh, God. It was crazy. That's when I started learning other languages. So I came... Yeah, bro. No, like there's King's College. Then there's the one below it.
Oh, wow.
Now, imagine King's College, but without the swag. Like King's College getting excited.
No swag.
No swag. So man, it was a crazy time. I remember my first day, I was beaten up by a teacher. I told him, I'm a newcomer. He found me standing in grass. I was like, so, bro, lie down. You're not supposed to be trespassing. I'm like, first wait, I've just arrived. Like my parents have just left. Like I'm trying to explain to guys, like you're going to learn. So he puts me down. They cane me and I'm like, oh my God, did they bring me here to torture me? So I think my creativity was down. Throughout those years, then I focused on books. That's when I discovered my love for science. So they used to call me Commander Science because at the time there was a thing.
What is that?
Let me explain. So there was a soap. I think it was Lifebuoy. They had a mascot who was called Commander something. They had such a beautiful animation. Oh God, we watched that anime. It was amazing. And the guy had a song and everything. It was amazing. So they put us in like rooms and stuff like that and we watched all these things. So watched the two. He had a queen. They were all ugly. And then Commander Safeguard came and like saved the city and all that stuff. It was amazing.
That's so cool. I didn't know you were passionate about animation.
Oh, that's the reason why I came for the animation thing. Anyway, we'll get there because like it made sense. I felt like there was a deep connection between science and creativity. During that time, I love science, but I'm flunking English, I'm flunking SST. So like I would get like a 90% in science, but I didn't see the use for English. Like, I mean, we're speaking English. Why should I?
Proposals.
Hey. Not me did I know proposals at the time. So after doing all this stuff, we finish and then I join another school, which is in Deje. That's when I get a love for computer. So weirdly, senior one was all about, which is like the beginning of the secondary school, right? Girls. That's when puberty kicked in for real. I was like, man, I need to attract them. I need to have them. So a friend of ours in like the last year of my Form 1 comes in, and this guy comes from Rainbow International. It's like a reflection of what I could have been. Comes by, he has all the babes, he swims, he dances. I'm like, first wait. I'm like, this could have been me. So actually in P7, before that I had a friend called Timothy. So Timothy was very, very inquisitive, very deep. But he loved cars, he loved opening things up. You know those guys that like, if he sees his tablet, he's like, but why, like, how am I touching and things are moving? So he opens it up, very investigative. Now, I used to spend all my weekends with this guy because he had a lot of the information I wanted to hear. So we'd talk about a lot of weird stuff. I didn't even know if I was telling the truth, but we'd spend so much time. So we'd spend hours and hours and hours. So like, after class, I would be with him. Over the weekend, I would be with him. Me and Timothy, you should check him out. It's Timothy Ntambi, one of the best systems developers I know in Uganda as per now. So Timothy and I are going back to my dormitory. So as we're walking, this cool kid comes down.
The one from Rainbow?
Yeah. So this cool kid bumps into us. He's like, oh, you guys are talking about, you're talking about computers. Like, do you guys know how to hack? How to, what? It's like, you mean hacking like in the movies? Like, yeah. So he says some stuff, he drops some name, he name drops words, CMD, what. I'm like, no, like this could have been me. So anyway, may I let it go. So during the holidays, Timothy was pissed. Why does this guy know more about this thing than me. So Timothy goes, he sits down, he goes and studies these things. So he goes, he learns Python, then he comes back the following term, and I'm like, oh, my boy Timothy, how are you? He's like, sit down.
Let me school you.
It's about to go down. So he's like, man, I discovered something. So he shows me Python. So we do a couple of calculations. So you can do calculations with computers.
Wow.
Now, during that time, I did not realize that we're learning the language of the computer, right?
Just quickly say what's Python?
So Python is a programming language.
Okay.
Now, let me break this down to like a simplest level. These are things that I learned a couple of weeks ago as I was teaching. So when you guys are using your computers, you use the softwares that are there. By softwares, I mean the apps. You open WhatsApp, but you're using the capabilities of WhatsApp. But then what happens when you want more than just WhatsApp, more than what WhatsApp can offer?
Again, what's it made of? Eh?
Exactly. So what's WhatsApp made of? So there are a couple of programmers that sit down and talk to these computers further, right? Not just by clicking things. So let me give you a bit of history. So back in the day, people were writing code to use computers because only programmers could use computers then, right?
Yeah. So now multimedia creatives come in.
Exactly. Now, before the creative comes in, they make the GUI to simplify the usage of the computer.
Yes.
So for me, remember, I was looking for that deep insight, like the thing, what
Principles.
exactly the first principle, which is a term coined by Aristotle, who was the first philosopher. Anyway,
So basically, you're like African Elon Musk.
slowly.
Okay.
Hey, so these guys release the GUI, right? And then people start to use computers. Now, Steve Jobs pioneers the personal computer when he releases the Apple I and then the Apple II and things like that. So now people are now using computers. But then there's now a new... and I want you to pay attention to this journey because I want to use this same journey to explain AI, right? Yeah. So you're seeing how we've moved from like the most basic thing, math calculations, to using those same math calculations
to
here.
Visualization of what
Exactly.
the calculations are doing.
Yeah, so the abstraction that is created is that. But now there are people that want to go beyond the abstraction and give more value, right? So that's where the programmer comes in. So the programmer is given a special language to speak to the computer. This is a programming crash course. After this, you'll be able to do anything in code. Now,
no, but I love how you explain it.
Okay, so now you want to go beyond. Now I need to learn this language. But the thing is, computers do not think the same way we think. So there's what they call an algorithm. You've heard of that?
Yes.
So an algorithm is just a series of steps taken. Just think of it that way. So when you're programming a computer, computers only know how to move from one to the next step, to the next step. We can go into the deep computer science of how the zeros and ones. They created low-level they created low-level languages to speak to these machines. And these languages were similar to what we are used to as humans, right? That's where languages like BASIC, like what, all those funny programming languages, assembly and whatnot. Then as we kept going, people started creating their own languages to speak to these computers. So these computers have a dialect, right? When you look at it there, think of it as a person I'm speaking to. Now, I love to explain science in a creative, like in a creative manner, because I started out as a creative. And I think we had a conversation out there, and you're saying there's a disparity between creativity and science. I want to answer the question. Okay. Now, I want you to understand one thing. Let's put this on the side, talking to the computer. Technology has always been with us, but people define technology as this stuff. This is not technology. Technology is everything that we use to simplify life. So this is technology. So when you're saying you're creative, you're actually a technologist. It's just that your focus is on bringing...
put that in our Instagram by technology.
Oh, please. If you're looking for a category of one...
Hi, my name is Ebony Banya, and I am the project lead at Akatuuti. Akatuuti is a gamified monitoring and evaluation framework that helps organizations to design their programs, but we also help them with making capacity building and learning about complicated topics like intellectual property, which most creatives use to monetize their creative work. And what you see here is a board game we designed to make that simple. So Akatuuti is basically a system and a vehicle and a digital platform that is going to help creatives to easily monetize their intellectual property.
Are you saying anything we make is made with tools, right? And then technology, you see it as another
that
as an
simplify
advanced tool.
Exactly. So the first form of technology was fire. But fire changed the way we live life.
Maybe it was a stick.
Actually, yeah. Sorry.
No.
Let's go further. No, that's good. That's good.
No, let's go forward.
So the stick, the fire, but fire created a new era. We now say to cook food. Now it changes society. Now the thing keeps happening and happening and happening. We then have the industrial revolution
So
with coal,
as human
with
beings, the
railway.
original technology, we just keep shifting
Exactly.
between the ones and zeros.
Yeah. So now the thing is we adapt because we delegate, right? You know, our brains are lazy. They just want to free up space. You get? So now if I'm
Really, I take.
yeah. So times change with technology, right? We also advance with technology. Back to the computer thing.
Yes.
When you're communicating with it, it's just an algorithm. It takes a series of steps, and you're the one outlining them. But the way you outline them matters. So you learn its dialect. So the programmer learns that dialect, right? And he's able to speak to it and manipulate it to do the things beyond what you have, right? So yeah, I've explained the programmer. Yeah, so Python is just one of those dialects.
Of course, yeah.
And I want to actually ask, going from that, how do you now go from that into AI? And apparently you're basically designing the first Luganda ChatGPT. Is that?
Okay, so at the AI studio, where I've been volunteering, we worked on a large language model that speaks Luganda and one that speaks Swahili.
Right.
So to access it, you can use LM Studio. So we made it open source, so meaning anyone can access it. All you have to do is download this app, and then you're able to use it. Then you come and select your model. You can search Ganda Jema, and then when you select it, you can just come and say anything. So you can tell it to translate for you from English to Luganda, or you can just greet it. Someone say Olio Tia, meaning how are you? And it's running, so it's saying Sonyiwa siri muyinza kutegeera bulungi ekyo.
That's very cool. So, what was the challenge making that?
So the thing is, there are frameworks to create these models. The same way there are tools for you to create your motion graphics, right? So what we do is we just look for data, because the thing is data. If you have data in Luganda that can help it translate, you just feed it in. Download LM Studio or Olama, any tool that can help you access LLMs locally.
Okay.
Then you search Ganda Jema, and then you can use it directly here. Yeah.
Great.
The story when I was in Form 1, this guy introduces me to Python, but I didn't go to Python directly because it didn't make sense to me. So I tried out HTML. HTML is just every website that you see is built with HTML.
Yes.
So I learned HTML and there's a book we stole from the library, and I didn't want to keep the book because I knew my friend wanted to keep it. So I wrote the book word for word. I was hopping around programming languages. I didn't know how to use them because beyond being able to speak to the computer, you need to be able to do stuff like...
Wait, you wrote the book word for word?
Yeah.
That's a humble flex. How old are you again?
At the time, right now,
Yes.
I'm 23.
Wow. Okay, continue.
Okay, so after this time, fast forward, Form 4. So towards the end of my high school, I think I was that's when I started to become very artistic. So I was dancing and all that stuff. So the videos at the time that were trending, the neon lights, where you dance and then a neon light follows and stuff like that. So I wanted to understand how they do that.
All right.
So someone tells me, and I Google it, and then they say, you use After Effects, which is the Photoshop of video. And I'm like, hold up.
Well, good.
And you know me, I like to go deeper. So what's Photoshop? You get? Because so I went to Photoshop and I learned how to do Photoshop. You can even check my Instagram right now. So I did a couple of photo manipulations. I was playing around with stuff. After that, I snuck my laptop into school through, obviously, I manipulated policy. So I became the ICT club president. I paid for the post though. And then I could bring my laptop into school. So there's a friend of mine who used to do music, and then he taught me how to produce music. So I started to see the connections between all these things. But at the time, I wasn't good at coding. So when I was finalizing school, I sat down and I was like, I am going to become rich as hell, but I need to map out the journey. That's beginning with tech, right? So I looked at the top richest people at the time. So during that time, I had the chance to experience people that had finished campus. Because my uncle had an IT company. So I used to go there and I would meet another teacher who I'm currently working with to create a math focused course to help people use AI better. Because AI is basically math and statistics. It's just fancy, right? So I'm working with him right now. We're working on a couple of AI courses to help foster.
How can we come up with that course?
Yes.
For creatives?
For creatives, yes. That's where we're coming. Because I want to break down what creativity is from first principles, what this AI thing is. Because you guys...
They match?
Creativity, creatives transcend time, right?
Yeah,
we know the Mona Lisa, right? We know the Mona Lisa and we will know it forever. But one thing... Yeah, but the one thing that most people don't know is how scientific Da Vinci was, right? How scientific all the Renaissance minds were. Michelangelo. No one ever goes deep. Like, we all be wishy-washy about creativity. Like, oh my God, I feel like it. Like, I just felt like it and then I drew it. But there's a lot of mathematics happening at the back of your mind to have it happen.
A lot of analyzing, when you're there.
Precision.
You're making decisions, you're actually moving your colors, your things, your
Yeah.
whatever. And you're kind of constantly analyzing where these inspirations are coming from, what you want to say, what the story is.
So the first, I set out and I made a plan. I said, the first year is going to be learning. I'm going to learn as much as I can about technology. I do not know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to learn as much as I can. The second year, I'm going to volunteer with businesses so that I can understand what it takes to build a business. And the third year, I will build my business. So the first year was my vacation. So I start. So now I'm like, okay, so what do I do with tech? I had a very keen interest with AI, but I didn't know how to get started. So I go to YouTube and then I learned HTML again. I learned CSS again. It was very hard for me at the time. I learned JavaScript and then I reached a point and these are programming languages, by the way, that I use to run the web. I was just learning how to develop web applications. So maybe I can build a software and put it out there. So we learned how to develop software from beginning to end. So they call it full stack software development. So you develop the front end, which is what you see, and the back end, which is where the data is stored, because these apps get data from somewhere. So managing that. After doing that, I did my thing. I decided to volunteer, but I volunteered at that company. So I was retained. I worked for them for a while. But during that time, I was experimenting with tools like, I was still experimenting with tools like Illustrator, like Photoshop, getting my hands dirty. Now, surprisingly, there's a sector of technology where if you've done graphics design, you settle well in technology. So I think it's before.
So being a multimedia creative can actually give you a head start.
So now, actually, let me highlight this part since our audience is mostly creatives. So if you want to get involved in tech easily, there's a sector called product design, but inside that sector, there's product design for like the digital thing, which is UI, UX, user interface, and user experience design.
They make the experience on these digital surfaces.
It's much, much deeper than that. We can go into the psychology and stuff. UI, UX design is the guys that sit down and they empathize with the users and they say, okay, no, we shall have this here, we shall have this button here, we shall have this button shaped like this. And then a backend developer connects it to a database and you have a Facebook or WhatsApp.
So by the way, the time has gone off.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've answered the question.
You are hanging on your lips.
But I'm wondering
the
who
guys
is
have
winning.
been at the window.
Yeah. And I want to paint a picture so that the creatives get a full, because there's a lot of creatives seated out there and they feel threatened by this. I want to break it down so they feel so confident. Because let me tell you,
something going to help them, not something that is going to take away their opportunities. Okay.
Just like the
At some point, people were afraid of the fire.
Exactly. Thank you. You're seeing, Okay. So I do my time trying to volunteer with businesses. Very hard time. because I was earning very little. I was learning a lot. I just joined campus. I was fighting with my parents. I hate school. I'm working 4 jobs. I'm doing 2 courses. Outside of the course I was doing at campus. And then I meet a friend of mine called Victor. We tried to start a business, and that's when I'm like, it's now time to start a business. And then I see the big picture. That's when it shows me there's tech, there's strategy, there's this, there's that, there's that, there's that. So I was seeing the whole picture, and I'm like, now it's time to bring it together. But then GPT happens. And then I remember I had a love for, I remember my first, like, why I got into tech was for AI, right? Was for robotics, like the cool stuff. I'm like, I need to make this happen. So I talked to my dad, and I tell him, man, there's this course I've found. I've seen, it was an MIT course, but it was a postgraduate course. So I tell him, man, please, let's pay for this. Please. Like, AI, what? I pitched to that guy. I was like, you know what? Anything to do with education, I would fund. Yes. So he starts.
Is he fine with that impression?
He would love it. He would just laugh. We normally do it with my sisters.
Okay.
So machine learning, simply put, these AIs, let me break it down for you. And this is going to make you use GPT differently. These things are just fancy math. It's just fancy math. I want to show you that creatives are indispensable.
Okay.
Like, you guys are going to own the future.
You've given us hope. Let's go.
We're making the poster.
Yes.
Okay? We're done?
Yeah, okay, the poster is done. Let's get into it. So I realize it's just fancy math. If anyone has done, have you guys done those things of, like, where they say the price of maize is 2,000? What's the price of 3 combs of maize, right?
Yes.
So AI is simply a fancy find X. But how does it work? I can go deep into the math and all that stuff, but let me give you a better example. Imagine you're trying to find a place that is your rent price, right? So there are things that you consider when you're finding that to make a prediction of what you can pay for, right? So traditional machine learning is simply, it's simply you trying to use a computer to learn patterns and then predict. Right, so we consider the place it's located, how far it is from the main road.
All the
So those keep those in mind as variables, right? So those variables are what we use to determine the price. Now, if we get multiple houses that already exist, right, and we map out those variables, this house is this far from the road, and it's located here, and we do that multiple times. Can't we use that same information to predict what the cost of a house here would be? So they call that linear regression. So linear regression is you just draw a line, and then that line that you've drawn is just plotted values. When you plot those values, you can predict.
So then, is that similar? When I put in the prompt, it's a kind of prediction.
Yes.
Comes back to me.
So
because of all the system learns from all the values.
Exactly. So there are all those values.
Hey, thanks for watching our podcast. While we're here, I want to make sure you really get what this is all about. So Kelele Collective is a growing community of multimedia creatives, and our mission is to help you build a sustainable, healthy career from your talent. If you want to stay in the loop, get connected, check the links below, and subscribe. Now back to the pod.
Now, AI is just AI. The way you hear the word, the way we define it is just a subsection of computer science where we focus on trying to emulate human intelligence, right? Now, inside AI, there is machine learning, where we focus on getting patterns, yes, and then using them to make predictions. Now, inside it is what they call deep learning. Now, deep learning tries to emulate the mind. They discover that you can use these neural networks to train models and actually get better outputs. That's where the image generation stuff comes in. There's what they call stable diffusion, which came out a little bit, so it had been around, but most people started noticing it after ChatGPT came out. So it's just, imagine you're seeing you're seeing how you can get a picture that's poor quality and improve its quality. Some guy sat down and was like, what if I start from nothing? Because remember, at the end of the day, it's just pixels, right? But noise. Now, what if I start from pure noise and try to make something happen? That's stable diffusion.
So
Your
those people
level.
can use Photoshop to bring out the photo.
So the same way you do it, that's the same way it works. But as I was saying, deep learning, that's now where generative AI is seated, because it's now the smaller section. Remember I said AI? Inside AI there's ML, machine learning. Inside that there's deep learning. Inside deep learning there's generative AI. So it's a small subsection. These guys come up with what they call, someone at Google, they wrote in 2017, they wrote a paper called Attention is All You Need, right? Now that paper outlined what they call the transformers architecture, which is what is used today in the large language models.
If I can ask you now, I mean, it's very fascinating. And I really love how you break it down and also just seeing the way you understand it. I think it's really cool for people to hear. Now, it can be a bit scary, right? So creativity is creating something. Now we have those machines who are creating something. Now we understand better where it's coming from.
First off, you need to understand what kind of data these models are trained on, right? So for a large language model, it is just the internet stored
Anything you can find.
yeah,
Right?
anything they could find, they just put it. That's why they call them large. Now, I said AI is just the field of study where we try to emulate the human mind, but we can't. Because the beauty about us is we have consciousness. That's something that they haven't, they failed to debunk.
We're sentient.
We're sentient. Now, if we say creativity is creating, let's break down what creating is. What's the most basic form of creativity? It's recombination. Even the Bible says it. I see that thing and I see another thing and I put them together. When the information that you give it determines how strong it is in that sector. That's why they can't speak our language properly, because we do not have enough information about our language online. So if you post your pictures, like the Gilby, there was a lot of Gilby information in the training of the model. That's why it was able to create it, right?
Yeah, I was trying to get at that.
Simply put, that model is now so good at being creative. How do you handle it personally, or how would you advise people to use it as a tool, but not replacing the creativity? Yeah? So it's very practical, but
I want to show you. So I love that you've asked that question, because it's going to bring everything together. So you remember when I told you about the history and how humans have advanced? I've also told you about these models and all this stuff. So what should I do? And what should it do? Where do I begin and end? Where does it start and continue? The reason I told you about technology and how it had transitioned is I wanted to show you that human beings want to extend influence, extend capability. When I say I have a personal brand, I'm just scaling myself. I'm scaling the definition of myself. I'm scaling my thought process. I'm scaling my... You get? Even as a creative, you're scaling your unique approach, your unique understanding of something. We all draw, but there is a specific way you draw.
Something grows out of you.
Exactly.
The fingerprint.
Exactly. But it starts from you now. The most complex models are our minds. Most complex model is actually your subconscious mind. For lack of a better word, just like there's something about humans that we can't explain. What these machines do is they replicate what we do. They just do it
They're just
more.
copycats.
Yeah, they just do it more. So if you are drawing today, if you're drawing Gilbys today, right? How long would it take you to draw one? Now the thing is, now if I've learned the technique, it's now time for me to move on to learn a new technique, to experiment more with a new technique. Now the AI model is what I use to delegate. Now Fiverr did this very well. I want you to look for Fiverr Go.
Yeah.
So what Fiverr did, they said, man, creatives are suffering with AI.
So
But-
Fiverr is that website where you can
Get jobs.
you can order something creative for, it's just a marketplace. You get it kind of cheap or not so much on global stage for that kind of marketplace. Yeah.
Exactly. So Fiverr Go, they say, they notice that creatives, you see, the truth is, we love to create, but if you're replicating, you're not creating. That's the truth. AI replicates, doesn't create. If we look at you drawing, motion graphics, when you're making the motion graphics, you love to experiment with new things, right? But then clients always tell you, I want this, I want this, I want this. Before you want to go beyond that, you want to test out new waters, that's your job.
Yeah.
right? The AI is to replicate. The problem that has come is the fear that comes from them using my data and I'm not gaining anything from it. Now let me paint this picture well. Where the human begins is where the human ends is where it begins. You need to discover the limitations of your mind in terms of your creativity. What kind of thought patterns are you using? Pay attention to how you're creating the art. There's a thing called metacognition. You think about your thoughts. So when you're creating these things, what's your philosophy about creating these things? When you're creating your motion graphics, like what's the thing?
Essentially the human part.
Yes.
Right?
So what made you, well, like why did you make this decision?
How the creativity part of it.
So your job is to look for newer ways of doing that thing. So if I'm a software engineer, ideally if I'm an artist, my job should be to experiment, to focus on the thing I love. Because me, I just want to experiment. I want to try out with these colors. What if I use this? What if I use that? You focus on that. Now, when you find something, you write the principles down, and then it begins where you end. So the thing is, it's a tool of scale. If you notice, we created the car so that we could move faster, right? Move further so that we can. But we had to walk to understand that.
Okay.
So the creatives walk for the machines to drive.
Okay.
You get?
Yeah.
So we are now entering the age of the creative. So you guys have already done the hard work. You get? These models are just going to
replicate.
Exactly. But now, Fiverr is a new platform on top of Fiverr. This is what they did. They're like, you're a voice artist, but you can't serve 1,000 people at once, right? So what you do, we're going to train a model on your voice. So that if someone needs your voice, they can just talk to the model. They pay you.
You can be replicated as a person.
Exactly.
Okay.
So they pay you. It's a tool of scale. So now I can serve.
Tool, basically. It's not going to replace the human. It's just going to make them be able to have more output and productivity.
Now, the problem is the bias that we have in understanding what a human is. We've made humans machines. The industrial age has forced people into being machines. That's why when I show my parents my photo manipulation, then I show them my AI stuff, and I show them all this stuff, they'll be like, but you guy, choose one thing, get a job, and go and work. Get money, build your career. You get? But the thing is, for Da Vinci to draw the Mona Lisa, he had to dissect more than 100 corpses, right? He needed to study the bones, the bone structure. He studied the muscles. But on top of that, to make the Mona Lisa, there's also a background. That same background he had to study. He had to study geology. He studied the rocks. He read a lot. To be able to paint that and transcended time, he had to learn the chemistry in the paints. Even the diagrams that we have of the heart, of the body, he's the one that drew them. Did you know that? But we call him a creative. Most of the scientists back in the day, Isaac Newton and whatnot, all these guys regarded themselves as theologists.
Oh wow!
I'm just studying.
Understanding the human condition.
Exactly.
Understanding life.
Yeah. Now you see, technology, like I just described it, is a tool. I want to help people understand this tool. You just need to explore the possibilities. Like, explore your mind as much as you can. Then look at how these tools can help you. Leave the things that you don't want to AI. Focus on the things that you want to do. So it's going to liberate you.
Okay.
But let us just thank you for the deep dive. Yeah. And I think we met a really creative mind, a deep mind.
Yeah.
And that alone is inspiring, right?
Yeah. And it's so interesting how you've broken it down, because most creatives will think AI is my enemy, but you'd be like, no, it starts where you stop. So thank you for making that as simple as possible.
Tell us also if people want to get in contact or find you.
Find me. My website is collinsbenda.com. You can get me on my Collins Benda 360. I'm very active on LinkedIn, also very active on Twitter. On Twitter, you can find me there as Cyber Attorney, where I break all these things down with actual videos and things like that. Yeah.